In terms of our itinerary today, we'll be looking at what is qualified one-way cost shifting, looking at its impact on claims which involve counterclaims, its relevance to appeal proceedings, Part 20 proceedings, whether in fact you can set off cost liabilities in a matter to which a party is otherwise protected by qualified one-way cost shifting. We'll look at how it interacts with cases which involve multiple defendants, its relevance to claims which are settled by way of a Tomlin order or a Part 36 offer, and we'll also look at the thorny subject of mixed cases. That brings us to the end of this webinar. Just to briefly recap, in the context of counterclaims, which we've covered last, there are conflicting authorities. In the context of appeals, then yes, QOCS still applies. In the context of Part 20 proceedings, where those Part 20 proceedings don't relate to a claim for personal injury, but for instance, just relate to an argument between defendants as to who is liable to pay the damages to a claimant, then QOCS wouldn't apply. In relation to set-off, QOCS still applies. Yes, liabilities for costs can be set off, but only up to the amount of damages and interest that have been recovered in those proceedings. In the context of proceedings involving multiple defendants, then yes, the defendant can enforce any cost liabilities in their favour up to the extent or up to the amount of any damages and interest which have been ordered in those proceedings, no matter who they have been ordered to be paid by. In the context of cases which are settled by way of a Tomlin order, where the damages are only contained in the schedule rather than in the order itself, or in those cases which are settled by way of a Part 36 offer and acceptance, so no order is actually made by the court, then QOCS applies and the costs order can't be enforced. Finally, in relation to mixed cases, as we have discussed, ultimately it's a matter for the court's discretion, but in most mixed cases, so in the majority of mixed cases which are unexceptional, then QOCS would be likely to be continued to be applied by virtue of the court's discretion.